Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. In today's video, we'll discuss 11 tips and tricks to get and keep your hair looking its best. Today's video is the third in a series we've done on grooming. The first video covered our 15 tips for keeping your hair healthy, and the second video was all about having clear skin and avoiding acne. We return to hair in today's video to discuss 11 hacks that are going to upgrade your hair game. Tip number 1 is to use a pre-styling product before you apply your regular gel, pomade, wax, or so on. Using a heat protection spray, a mousse, or a sea salt spray before you use your regular product is going to give your hair a little bit of added volume and the look that you're going to desire. Add a pre-styler to your hair when it's still damp and then apply your regular product as normal. By the way, if you're unsure of what hair product would be best for you, you can take a look at our guide to hair products here. Tip number 2 is to select a hairstyle that works well with your face shape. Even if two men have the same haircut, they're probably not going to look the same because every man has a slightly different character to his own face. And whether or not your hairstyle harmonizes with the shape of your face is going to determine whether it looks good on you or not. There are a wide variety of face shapes. We're not going to go over them in depth here, but if you'd like more information on that subject, you can check out our video on eyeglasses as to how they relate to your face shape here. And of course, just because you see that a certain hairstyle is supposed to correspond well to your certain face shape, that doesn't mean that you have to mindlessly accept it. You can experiment with any given hairstyle to find what looks best for you, but just keep in mind that face shape should be something to consider. And if you're looking for some hairstyle inspiration, you can find our video on 5 classic hairstyles for gentlemen here. Tip number 3 is a relatively simple one: always have a comb handy. There may be something that happens to your hair throughout the day that completely upsets its look. It could be wind or something else entirely. But in the event of a hair emergency, having a comb handy will always serve you well. If you run the comb through some water and then apply it to your hair to touch up your style, you should be good to go. And speaking of those unplanned emergencies, you can find our video on how to survive a sartorial emergency here. Tip number 4 is also on the subject of maintenance, which is to make sure that you're periodically cleaning up around the edges. Having an electric razor probably isn't going to be your best bet for actually shaving your face, as you'll find in our shaving guide here. However, these can be handy for cleaning up the edges of your hairline in between haircuts so that things are staying trim and tidy. And as long as we're talking about haircuts, tip number 5 is to befriend your barber. Every man has hair of a slightly different character, so going to the same barber consistently will ensure that he knows your hair well. Not only will a barber who knows your hair be able to give you the styling you want, but he'll also be able to make sure cowlicks and other less savory features of your hair are minimized. It's typically recommended by those in the hair care field that men should seek a haircut every 4 to 6 weeks, in other words, every month to month and a half. So if you're continuously visiting the same barber and developing a relationship, your hair is going to look that much better every time you get it cut. Those are our large-scale tips out of the way. Next, we're going to cover some more specific hacks that you might want to try, starting with tip number 6, which is using conditioner in dry hair to control frizz. If your hair is seriously blown out and frizzy due to humidity or other circumstances, a quick way to gain control again is to take a small amount of conditioner and run it through your hair while your hair is still dry. And if for whatever reason you don't have access to conditioner, you could also use a facial moisturizer as a way to control your frizz. Whatever you're using though, make sure it's a very small amount so that once you run it through your hair, it's not going to be visible for the rest of the day. Tip number 7 is some more advice on how to handle humidity if you find that it's compromising your hairstyle. First, of course, it would be wise to check the weather each day before you go out. This should seem fairly obvious, but after all, if you check to see the temperature and humidity levels that you're going to be dealing with, you could preemptively style your hair in a way that would make you better prepared. Also, it might be a good idea to keep a little bit of your hair product on hand throughout the day so you could touch up if necessary. In particular, products that have anti-humectant properties are going to be good for controlling frizz in humid weather. And if all else fails, a solution long-term might be to wear your hairstyle in a bit of a shorter fashion. After all, the shorter your hair is, the less product you're probably going to have to use overall, so the problems that humidity presents are just going to compound less. We've already talked about the benefits of using conditioner in dry hair, but tip number 8 is to use a small amount of shampoo in dry hair to relieve built-up wax that may have accumulated there. Again, you're only going to want to use a small amount of shampoo so that it won't be visible. And as we said in part 1 of this series, shampoo is actually a relatively strong product and can strip out all the natural oils from your hair if you're not careful. For more information on shampoo and how often, or rather how seldom, to use it, you can check out part 1 of this series. On a related note though, tip number 9 is to consider carrying with you some dry shampoo when traveling. Dry shampoo often comes in a canister similar to how you might find hairspray, and if you use just a little bit of it to control the grease in your hair and on your scalp, if you happen to have not showered for a day or two, this will definitely help. Still, it should be said that showering is your best bet to making your hair look good. Speaking of hairspray, tip number 10 is to consider incorporating it into your hairstyling routine. For most of us, we conjure up images of women applying cans of hairspray to their beehive hairdos in the 1960s. But in fact, hairspray can actually be a versatile tool for men to style their hair with as well. If you want to give a bit of extra styling power to the product you normally use, you can take a little bit of hairspray and spray it directly into your hands and then run your hands through your hair. Don't wait too long, of course, or the hairspray is just going to settle on your hands, and that won't be helpful. Using a bit of hairspray to finish, whether sprayed into your hands or directly onto the hair, as would be traditional, will add not only hold, but a bit of additional texture to your hair. Additionally, many hairsprays on the market today are going to contain more natural ingredients that aren't harsh on your hair like the chemicals used in hairsprays of the past. Still, it's important to read the ingredients label on any product you buy so that you know whether or not it will be good for you. And finally here, hairspray can also add a bit of volume for men who are experiencing thinning hair, which can also be a plus. This brings us to number 11, our final tip for the day, which is to own thinning hair confidently. There are a number of products that men with thinning hair can use to give their hair a bit more perceived thickness and volume. In addition to hairspray, which we've already mentioned, products that have a matte finish will absorb light and therefore make hair look a little bit thicker. But if you're experiencing more substantial hair thinning or hair loss, our best advice here is to simply come to terms with it and own it. By this we mean that instead of ending up looking like a creepy uncle who's trying to make that comb-over work, you should just choose a hairstyle that suits your thinning hair better. Shaving one's head is becoming an increasingly popular choice these days, and choosing other similarly close-cropped hairstyles will probably look good if your hair is thinning. We'll have a more in-depth guide to thinning hair and hair loss in the future, but for now, these tips should help you out. So, there's our list of 11 hair hacks. Before we go today, we'd like to mention that we've also done a few other hack-related videos. You can find our video on 35 life hacks for the modern gentleman here, 15 style hacks here, and our more recent video on laundry hacks here. Today's video features a simple and casual outfit, good for doing some grooming at home. My polo shirt is gray-blue in color, and it features multi-track stripes in white. By the way, if you're curious about multi-track stripes or any other definitions, you can check out our guide to stripes here. The collar is plain in color for a bit of contrast, and the brown buttons harmonize well with the brown elements in my outfit. Speaking of which, my trousers are plain brown, my belt is medium brown, and my shoes are dark oxblood penny loafers. However, the color difference between the belt and the shoes isn't too great, so nothing is jarring. My socks, meanwhile, are also gray-blue in color to harmonize with my shirt, and they feature a herringbone pattern. Of course, my outfit is exceptionally casual today, so I'm not wearing any accessories, but if you're interested in finding such accessories, such as collar pins, boutonnieres, pocket squares, and so on, you can find them in the Fort Belvedere shop here.